priceless. Don't ever make your priceless in your world. I know what you're up against, but you can make it.
Hey girl, hey girl, hey girl. So we are back with another episode of Hey Girl, it's Allyson. Thank you all so much for listening. I know it has been some time since I have done a podcast. There's just been a lot going on behind the scenes with traveling and momming and some stuff I'm gonna talk about during the podcast today. Today's podcast is, I don't think I'm gonna cry, but you know, sometime around here we don't really be knowing. So is it possible? Yes. But just had some things that have been going on, some exciting things. So make sure you follow me over on Instagram at HeygirlitsAllyson. That's ALL, no I's, just Y's. And don't forget the sun on the backside. Hey, I finally did it live. But that's ALLYSON. That's how you spell my name. No I's, 2 L's, and SON. So make sure you follow me over there. If you are under the age of 18, really I kind of say 21 sometimes, but it's really 18. Make sure you are following me over on TikTok at HeygirlitsAllyson. All right, just to see what's going on in between the times that I'm not podcasting. I'm still posting videos, I'm still posting content, but it's just not the whole podcast setup that I have going on. And this is not complicated. How I set it up, it's just a matter of setting it up and then editing and then all that stuff. Sometimes I don't be feeling like it, but that's the truth. But anyway, that's not what we're talking about today. Well, it kind of is what we're talking about today. So the title of this podcast is It Be Your Own Kids. It be your own kids. Now, that's not to say that I'm spending this podcast going off about being a mother. That's not it at all, period. It's the fact that sometimes when you need a jolt to your system, it's your children that many times can bring that jolt to your system. So this basically started Sunday. Okay, Sunday was Mother's Day. And so the girls had made projects at school, made me a whole card, made me these cute little candles. We went to brunch. We came back home. We went to church. We went to brunch. And then we came back home. We were just kind of chilling. And so in reading one of my daughter's cards for me, this is the card. If you're listening, you can catch if you want to see the card, it's over on YouTube. But so it says, let me tell you about my mom. My mom is 32 years old. She likes to relax in bed. Now, when I first read it, you know how, on social media, people share things that kids say about them. We laugh about it, right? So when I first read that, I laughed. I was like, she just is so funny. I like to lay in bed. Ha, ha, ha. But after a few days of processing that, it was a jolt to who I am. It was a jolt to what I am reflecting as an image to my children. Now, do I like to relax in bed? Yes, I do. But are there other things that I enjoy doing too? Yes, I enjoy making videos. I enjoy talking to people. I love my job that I go to. I haven't gone in a few weeks, but I love my job. I like to write. I like to create. Those are things that I love to do. But I had to ask myself internally and personally, Allyson, what is it that you are reflecting to your children when they are around you? So much so that when this came up and the teacher said, okay, next line, what does your mom like to do? That was the thing that came into her mind. And my other child put, watch TV. So that means when my children see me, a lot of times, now this is not saying this is all I do in front of them, but I've done it enough where they believe that that is the thing I like to do. Now they've been around me when I made TikTok videos. They've been around me when we've gone grocery shopping. They've been around me when we're eating. They didn't even say my mom likes to eat. They didn't even say my mom likes to be on her phone. They said my mom likes to relax in bed, and the other one said my mom likes to watch TV. Now, for some people, it's like, that ain't no big thing. Like, they seeing you chilling. They seeing you relax. True. But if you know my personality, and there are people that may watch this, and if you go, well, I'll delete a lot of my social media, but if you just know me as a person, me knowing myself was why this was such a gut check to me, because I am not someone, when you meet me and you engage with me and you speak with me and we hang out and things like that, you wouldn't think, oh, she just be chilling in bed all day, or that's the thing she just loves to do. You would think, oh, she be up, she be moving, she be going, because I do. But what is reflected to my children is that I like to relax in bed. That is their first thought when it's, what does mommy like to do? And to me personally, because of the goals I have set for myself, but also because of the things that I have desired to put in place for them and who I want them to see mommy as, who I want them. Now, this is not saying my children don't love me or don't want to be like me, because it's apparent every single day that they want to do all the things mommy wants to do. But the thing that was reflected at them the most was that mommy likes to lay in bed. Mommy likes to watch TV. Not mommy likes to help people. Not mommy likes to make videos. Not mommy likes to eat. Not mommy likes to go shopping. Mommy likes to relax in bed. And for me, that is an issue personally, because a lot of what I am doing, when I first found out I was pregnant with girls, my mindset kind of shifted a little bit, and maybe not as much as I thought. But my mindset shifted because I said to myself, I don't want my girls growing up the same way I did. I don't want them having the same experiences I had. Well, some of them. I don't want them to have, let me say it this way. I don't want them to have the same restrictions I had. And I don't want them to feel like there is any limit to who they can be. Period. And so a lot of what I'm doing on TikTok and with the podcast and with speaking and with writing books, a lot of the motivation and the push behind that was the fact that I have daughters, was the fact that I was birthing out new young women in this world, that I didn't want to have limits, that I didn't want to feel less than, that I didn't want to feel like they didn't matter to this world. That was one of the biggest pushes that I got when I was pregnant with them. So as a mom that has this in mind, that made this decision before they were even birthed into the world, for them to say my mom likes to relax in bed is an alarm for me. To say, hey, we all know kids don't lie. If you want to get the truth about a situation, if you want to get the truth about how you look, if you want the whole truth and nothing but the truth, unapologetic truth, ask a child. And I would say ask a child probably, I'm going to say 7 and under. They going to give you that full out raw truth. When I first cut my hair, my girls were like, I don't like it. I don't like you with short hair. Flat out, just straight up told me. I loved my haircut. They hated it. Every time I go and get my barber to cut down my sides, don't go get a haircut. I want your hair to grow back. Full out truth. Just full truth. If they don't like an outfit I pick out for them, it's the end of the world. I'm not beautiful anymore. All of this stuff. But it's the full unapologetic truth. So for their truth about mommy to be mommy likes to relax in bed, it had to be an alarm for me that when my children are home, and it's not a lot of time in the day that they're home because they're at school, then they go to daycare, and then we pick them up from daycare after school. So what is reflected in that time that we pick them up to bedtime is mommy likes to lay in bed. And I have a problem with that. And there may be people that listen that are like, girl, you tripping. But for me and how I desire for me to be perceived by my children is important to me, because I want to be that first example of a woman that the sky is the limit, that you can go after your dreams, that you can go after the things that you see for yourself, and you go after it, and you accomplish it, and then you move on to something else that drives you, that you have a desire and a passion for. But that is not what they have seen. Now, I'm not saying that they don't ever see that, but the first thing that they reflect, that they are talking about, that they see, is that mommy likes to relax in bed, which made me ask the question, Allyson, why are you always in bed when the girls are around? So much so that that is what they chose to say about you. Why is it? And I had to ask myself that very hard question. There will be time, and I'm being full honest. Now, listen, I have not been to therapy. I was in therapy in grad school, but I'm going back. Like, I've been calling around because this is something that it was a gut check for me. Allyson, why are you always in bed when the girls are around? And not even that. And it wasn't even in front of the girls, just in front of the girls. But there will be times I would wake up, take them to school, come back home, and I would sleep until noon. What? That, when I think about the woman I want to be, that is not her. Period. That is not the woman that I want to be. When I look in the mirror, I don't want to see a woman that sleeps till 12. When I look in the mirror, I don't want to see a woman that sleeps till 12 and then really doesn't do anything productive with her time until her children get home. That is not the life that I imagine for myself. That is not what I should be doing. Let me not say should be doing. That is not the desire I have of how I want to live my life on this planet. Period. Period. That is not her. And so from Sunday until today, I have drastically changed what I have been doing. Because it be your own kids that reveal to you that who you are reflecting to them is not who you want to be. Chill. What is being reflected back to you is not who you want to be. I always say that being married and having children is very hard. And I know it's glamorized on social media stuff. No. This is hard, period. Because every day is a constant reflection of who you are and the ugly things, let me not say ugly, and the things that are within you that are stunting your growth and the growth of the things around you. Because marriage digs up I'm gonna call it digs up the ugly in you, and at the right moment in time, because of the person you've been with, that ugly manifests itself. And you step back and be like, oh, where'd that come from? I thought I dealt with that. I guess I didn't deal with that. Time to go to therapy, time to pray, time to get deliverance, all of those things. That's what marriage does. So marriage is constantly shaking up things in you that you thought you were fine and you thought you were over with. But then parenting, when you have kids, that begins to reflect who you are and what you're doing on a daily basis. So if your children, there was a moment in time where every time the girls got in the car, they were asking for candy and sweets and chips and cookies. And I'm like, why are they always asking for this? We don't even give it to them like that. But because they didn't have it, didn't mean we didn't have it. So every day we having a dessert, we having a cookie, we got cookies somewhere, we got a cake somewhere, we got a pie somewhere. So now that's a reflection. So now what has to change? Because now that I've become aware of that truth, now I have two choices. I come to a fork in the road. I always talk about this. You either acknowledge the truth and begin to make changes because you don't want that to you don't want that to be your truth any longer, or you ignore the truth and you continue living how you've been living. And so your children are just this constant reflection of who you are, the decisions that you make, the productivity of your day, what your life looks like to them. Because not only do they write about it or reflect on it, they also act it out. So Kayla gets in the car sometimes now and it's just like, what can I have to eat when I get home? So eating is like always on her mind. But why is eating always on her mind? Because she see one of her parents always eating something. And it's not always a healthy thing that she sees. And then gradually it becomes her own thing, where even when we change how we're eating and what we're doing, it's become such a habit for her that now it's a habit in her that we now have the responsibility to break. Or that habit builds up and continues in her, and now she's living out a life that we were living. It's hard. It is so hard to just see you reflected back at you every second of the day. And so when I read that, and the first time I read it, I laughed about it, moved on, it was cute. But then that thing came back later on that night, and I was just like, I don't want to be that woman anymore. I'm not trying to be her. I don't want to do that. I'm not trying to be her. When I think about the dreams and the visions that I had for myself 5-10 years ago, being a woman, a mom that just are my children, what they say about me is she likes to relax in bed. That's not who I wanted to be today. And so I had to come to that fork in the road and say, will I continue in doing what I've been doing? Because now I know the truth. So now if I consciously make those same decisions, now I'm doing it with the truth in my mind, which means it's almost a form of rebellion, almost a form of rejecting that idea that I'm that person. But knowing the truth is I am, because my kids don't lie. They're only saying, they're only writing, they're only reflecting about what they've already seen. And they're unapologetically saying it. Or, so that's one side of the fork in the road. Or do I begin to make the changes and reflect on the woman that I have been showing my children versus the woman that I know I wanted to be today, or that I know I ultimately want to become? And I'm thankful to say that I chose that side of the road. So what did I do? I've been going to the park every single morning. I've been walking. After I've done that, I'm not just coming back home and sitting on social media. No, I have literally made myself get out of the house every single day to go sit down somewhere, plan, read a book. The other day, I made a list about the things, the attributes of the woman that I desire to be. And some of them I've put into motion, but some of them I have not. And it was just reading that was just a real check to myself that I can't stay there. I can't stay in this place. This is not where I wanted my life to be. And so either I'm going to continue to complain about it and be upset, or I'm going to start taking the necessary action to be the woman that I want to be. And not only who I want to be, but who I want reflected back at my daughters every single day. Because who they're seeing every day, it shapes them into it shapes the woman that they become. And the reason I say that is because what you show them is what they believe is possible. So that's why a lot of times we're saying, a lot of times society people say, oh, we need to see a person of color in this. Oh, we need to see a Black woman doing this. Why? Because when another Black woman who's not doing that sees her in action, we begin to say to ourselves, if it's possible for her, it's possible for me. The Bible talks about how, when people see what God is doing for you, it in turn has them glorify God. Why? Because they know you. That person on the outside looking in, they know you, and they know if you doing that, oh, for real, God is at work. Let me give God glory, because there has to be a higher power at work, which is Jesus. There has to be a higher power at work for you of all people to be doing that thing. And so there's a belief that comes with seeing someone else doing it. There's a belief and a possibility and a faith that rises and grows in somebody else on the outside looking in that says, well, if they can do it, I can too. And the same goes for children. When children see that that was a possibility for you, they believe it's now a possibility for them. And they pursue it without any type of apprehension because they say, well, my mama did it. I saw my daddy do it. And they did it and they had troubles, but they made it through. Now I know I can make it through. And even more so because they're my mom and dad and they're connected to me, they're going to show me the right path without all of the things that they had to fall into and the traps and the mistake and the money that was lost and the time that was wasted. But I need my children to see that because I need to be, for who I am, I want my daughters to believe that nothing is impossible for them. Period. Nothing is impossible. There is no amount of money that makes something impossible. There is no amount of time that makes something impossible. You can do whatever you set your mind to. That's how I want my daughters to grow up. But that makes me have to look at Allyson and say, Allyson, are you pursuing the impossible? Are you letting an amount of money stop you? Are you letting time stop you? Are you letting anything stop you from doing the things that you know are impossible to do? And the answer has been yes. I have not been pursuing the impossible. I have been allowing money to become a restraint. I have been allowing social media following or exposure to become a stumbling block for me that for some reason I can't jump over. And so that being reflected in me and my frustrations is now me, instead of pursuing, overtaking, overcoming, has been me laying down, has been me just mindlessly watching television instead of doing something and working towards a dream. Now, this is not to knock relaxing. This is not to knock watching TV. Please take your time. Okay, please pursue the things and do the things you love to do. But if that is all you are doing, and if you can look at your time, if you were to give your time of your day a percentage, and that is the highest percentage, there's a problem. And I have to admit within myself, that's been a problem. I've been letting the situations and the frustrations with life land me in my comfortable bed to just sit there and to just lay there and to wish the day would end and to wish this situation and problem would be over and to take multiple naps because I don't feel like dealing. And that is what my daughters have been seeing. But today I say no more. This week I have been saying no more. I have been making myself get up out of the bed, face the issues, face the problems, and I'm still working on dealing with the problems because I'm an internal struggler. I don't know if that's a whole term, but I'm an internal struggler. I struggle with things internally. I don't say anything about it. My face might say it, but my words won't. Out of fear of hurting somebody's feelings, out of fear of saying the wrong thing. You know, once you say something, you can't take it back. So I'm an internal struggler. So I deal with everything up here. So my house, even though I talk a whole lot, when I'm home by myself, the home is very quiet. Unless I'm watching a video or something, because I process everything here internally. And so I'm irritated internally. I'm angry internally. I'm heartbroken internally. I'm frustrated internally. I'm sad internally. I'm anxious internally, but I never say it out loud. And because it's just all festering and boiling because I'm not talking to anybody, therapy, Mental Health Awareness Month, because I'm not talking to anybody, the way that all of my internal processing and dealing lands me, the way that it happens, it manifests itself, is me laying in bed and watching TV and going mindless because I don't want to focus on what's really going on and what the problem really is. But I'm not going to do that anymore because I want my girls to know that therapy is something that's necessary and to know that they can go after their dreams. Have fun, watch TV, relax, because you should relax, but not doing it in excess and not doing it as a replacement or a fix, a quick fix for the things that you are internally going through. because that's what I've been doing. So I haven't just been relaxing in bed. I've used my bed as my safe space. Let me not say safe space. I've used my bed as my crutch. I've used my bed and my pillow as a crutch instead of dealing, instead of saying what needs to be said, instead of going to therapy. I've used my bed, I've used TV and television as a crutch to get me, not even get me over the hump, to help me deal with the hump a lot better, to make the hump comfortable, because I don't want to deal with it, because dealing with the hump is uncomfortable. So I challenge you. Of course, I always end with a challenge. I challenge you to analyze who you are. Maybe you don't have kids. Maybe you don't have a husband or a wife. Maybe you don't. So you don't always have somebody that's a constant reflection for you and who you are today. But you know, I didn't need my daughters to write that for me to know. I knew what I was doing. You know what you're doing. You know what you're using as a crutch. You know the problems and the situations that you're ignoring. You know you probably need to go talk to somebody. It's not just self-care that you need every single day. It's the fact that you need to deal. It's just the truth. It's not just that you need to go to the spa every other week. It's that you need to deal. Okay, so even fill in that blank. My mom, she likes to what? So you like to do what? Instead of dealing. I want you to fill that blank in for yourself. I like to blank instead of dealing with the problem. What is that fill in the blank for you? I like to go get my nails done instead of dealing with the problem. I like to hit up an ex instead of dealing with the problem. I like to, the list could go on. I like to eat instead of dealing with the problem. Then we have unhealthy relationships with food. It's so much that we can use to fill in the blank, right? What do you do instead of dealing? What do you do instead of being your best self? What do you do? You have something, you have a quick fix. What is it that you're doing? Mine was laying in bed and staring at TV and binge watching something for hours, wasting time. That's what I was doing. I was wasting time. I was killing time. So I didn't have to deal. What's your thing? And I challenge you to face it. Be honest with yourself about it. And then seek help in overcoming and being able to deal a lot healthier. Because it's time for us to be exactly who we're meant to be. And every time we use our crutch, every time we use our crutch, we're not being our best self. We're ignoring something that we need to overcome in order to get to that next place that you're supposed to be in. I love you all very much. Thank you all so much for listening. And I hope that you are brave enough. I challenge you. I pray that you are brave enough to face your to face your crutch, so that you can deal and you can grow and you can heal and you can be everything that God has ordained you to be. I love y'all. Thanks for listening. Peace.